play, but then he gets as heated as he gets on comp, so he might as well have just been playing comp, you know? And I get it, you know, we have people who can't play the comp.
That was terrible, man.
That is what it is.
Oh my
like, for me, it was just like I was hyped to play with Marquise. Like, I was showing him all the weapons in the training room. He's like, oh, dude, I'll fucking play with that weapon, this weapon. So I've invested time and energy into kind of like hyping this shit up because I want to play with him.
Definitely not happy we're here.
And this man goes and does this, you know, and it doesn't help that he kind of pulled the same shit when it came to GTA. He volunteered to come play GTA with me, and then like we do 2 setup missions, and then he's done. He's tied.
Yep, that's smart.
So it was like, it was the buildup of bullshit from Marquise, and this was the final fucking straw, and him trying to excuse it with, you know, because Alex crashed out on him one time for getting too angry at comp. Like, Alex crashed out on him one time for getting like really uppity about comp and coming at the team because of whatever, and this man takes it out on me. Right, so that pisses me off the most because it's like I never really came at him for that shit, but he's refusing to get on the fucking game because somehow if he takes it serious, we're gonna get mad at him. But it's not even that type of game. It's fucking Monster Hunter. Like, take it however you want. You can take it serious, you can take it not. You're gonna get fucking parts. You're gonna make your weapons how you want to make them. You can play it as serious as you want. It doesn't affect any of us.
Right,
you know?
I was gonna say.
So
but that's
like,
just, yeah, it's homework.
So he's come up with dumbass arguments to not play, and none of them have anything to do with what I've said to him. It's all have to do with somebody else crashing out on him or something in some kind of competitive setting, primarily rivals. So,
are you fucking kidding me?
Week off.
Yeah.
I got 2 things I want to tell you. One of them is a piece of advice, the other one is something to tell you. So, the first thing is the piece of advice, which is Marquise is only ever in it for himself. I'm not saying it like he's a selfish person, because not in general, I wouldn't describe him as a selfish person. When it comes to gaming, he's a selfish person. Mark, I played with him in 2017. Okay, I've been friends with him for that long. I've probably got more hours playing or even just talking to him than anybody in this party. Probably most of you combined, not all of you, but most of you, right? I know the guy well. I'm not gonna sit here and talk bad about him, alright? We all have things about us that I'm sure, you know, different conversations you say, yeah, I don't really like the way this person acts in this scenario or whatever, but I'm just gonna give you a piece of advice. If your expectation is that Mark is gonna keep his word, don't. And I say that because it's not that Mark is completely unreliable, but he doesn't keep his word, because I cannot tell you the amount of times I've heard him say, oh, we're going to play this game together, it's going to be sick. Or, you got back into this game, or you just got into this game and I've wanted to play it for a while, this is cool, we're going to play it together. Or we're going to, you know, if it's a single player game, he's like, oh, we'll play it at the same time. Right? If you get ahead of him in that scenario, what's going to happen is, he's going to get frustrated, because he doesn't really play single player games unless they're something he's super interested in, like Black Myth Recon. And most of the time, what he's going to end up doing is playing it until he gets annoyed and frustrated, which is going to happen very quickly, because A, he doesn't read his screen, B, he doesn't pay attention, and C, he needs to be dominating from the get-go. If he's not dominating, it's too big of a learning curve.
Yeah, I was going to say, if he's
too big for him, very small by comparison, but if there's too big of a learning curve for him, he checks out quickly, right? I'll give you a perfect example. Before I got a PS5, I was talking about how I wanted to get Elden Ring. He was telling me about how he's been playing Elden Ring, he's really OP, all this other stuff, and how he enjoys it or whatever, but he can't wait to play it with me because he knows that it's co-op, right? I have yet to play the game co-op with him. You know why? Because he said he wanted to play it. Then what he ended up doing is, he he saw me playing it, decided he needs to get back into it, but according to him, he lost his his save data for it. So since he doesn't have a save data for it, and he's not OP, according to him, he was one-shotting all the bosses, so the game was stupid. But that's also because he watches a YouTube walkthrough on every single... Like, he does not move in that game unless the YouTube video tells him where to go and what to do, right? So he does that whole thing, ruins the whole experience for himself, says every boss is easy, but he's also playing with a god-tier build that you'd never do that unless you, like him, had somebody telling you every single step to take, right?
Daddy had to explain to that, by the way.
Right. Then he got upset because he said, now it's boring because there's nothing to do. Then when I started playing, he got back into it, and he said, oh shit, my stuff's gone, I gotta do that whole video stuff again. Then he got frustrated with how long it was taking him to get back to where he was. And he stopped playing it. I stopped playing it because, not because I don't like Elden Ring, but because I got so involved with other things that I ended up putting it down for a while. I still have it installed, I just haven't gone back to it. But I will eventually go back to it. Marquise, on the other hand, is very quick to make a lot of promises on what he's going to do and never live up to them. Now, I'm sure in different scenarios that can be said about me or anyone else, but I try and make good on my word. Marquise is in it for himself. I played Ghost Recon Wildlands for almost 300 hours. Most of that was by myself. A little bit of that was with Bravo and Rover, two of my other friends you don't know. And very little of that was with my brother and Marquise. Now, Marquise did play that game a bit, probably has something like maybe 40 hours in it. But he was of the mindset, from his own words, that he was going to play the whole game from start to finish so that he could absorb the story. Because he said when I was playing with him, I made the game too easy for him and he never really paid attention. But I know how Marquise is. He wasn't going to pay attention if he was by himself or with me. Also, according to him, Ghost Recon Wildlands is a difficult game. If you've seen that game, it is really not that difficult. It's not the easiest game in the world, right? It's not just pressing one button, but it is not a difficult game by any stretch. However, Marquis struggles because he can't be OP off the rip. And because I'm able to do things that he's not, he gets checked out. And he's like, it's not, you know, somewhere in his head, I think he's like, it's not fair that this person is so much better, having so much easier of a time than me. Because according to him, he's trying hard, but he's just not getting the same result. Well, the other thing is, for one, skill, right? Like, I can't get mad that you guys are better than me at Rivals. Just not on that level. However, the other thing is, like I just said, if he's not feeling overpowered at the start, he's not invested. There are countless other examples I can bring up of games that I was told by him that he's going to play, he's going to go all the way through, he's going to... Lies of P is another example. He saw me playing it, said, I want to try it. I said, you're not going to like it and you're not going to play it. Watch, you're not going to finish the game. He didn't even get to the first boss. And he's not going back to that game. And I said, what happened? I thought you said you liked it. He said, yeah, but I don't know. He said, I just feel like it's too slow. Like, he said, I think Black Myth Wukong spoiled me. I'm like, there it is. It's because of that game, you have a crap ton of combos, and in not the exact same way, but compared to something like Lies of P, it's much more like a Souls game. You have much more of a, what do you call it? In Black Myth Wukong, you have more of like a, kind of like what this game is, Monster Hunter World. You got like combos and different potions and stuff you can use. Like Lies of P is more Souls-like, where it's about parrying, learning your opponent, and knowing how to use what weapons you brought, right? That's not for him. And I know that he tried, but I knew from the get-go he was never going to get through the game. And that's exactly what happened. And there are countless examples of this same thing. Now that's for single-player games. For multiplayer games, yes, his competitive nature, we all have one. And I hate my own, because my competitive nature, I feel like, ruins parties sometimes. And I apologize for that. But his competitive nature ruins friendships. Like, it legitimately will... For one, it's never his fault. For one, it's never his fault. And then two,